All right, welcome back to Impossible Versus Matches, where we talk about versus matches that are impossible. Today, I've got my good friend Rachel as a first-time guest for episode 6. Rachel, say hello.
Hello.
And today, we are going to do 4 more matchups. If you guys don't know the rules already, there aren't a lot of rules, just no real people. And if you've seen the show before, which you should because this is episode 6 now, then you already know them. So without further ado, I guess we'll just go right into it. Rachel, go ahead and spin your wheel.
Okay. Okay, we have Napoleon Dynamite.
Napoleon Dynamite. Okay. Is that someone that's on my list? That's someone that is on my list, so I'm going to remove them.
Okay.
So this is going for my scenario, and I'm going to spin my wheel. Napoleon Dynamite versus... Oh, man. Okay. I'm disappointed because I wanted to use him against someone bigger, but it's Napoleon Dynamite versus Kevin McCallister
Oh.
from the lucrative Home Alone franchise. So
Okay.
this is tough because Napoleon Dynamite would not necessarily break into Kevin McCallister's house. So give me a second. Napoleon Dynamite versus Kevin McCallister. Okay. So Christmas Eve. um
Scene.
now the now Kevin McCallister is only in Home Alone 1 and 2, which are both set in the 90s, or Home Alone 1 might be 89, not sure, or 1990 exactly. They're both set in the 90s. This is Kevin McCallister is all grown up now. Now I believe Napoleon Dynamite takes place in like the early 2000s, right? Because he has a computer,
Sure.
even though he
Yeah.
dresses like it's the 70s.
Yeah.
Um, okay, so Napoleon Dynamite is a little bit older. Kevin McCallister is basically Macaulay Culkin now. And so now Kevin McCallister has had a knack for trouble. So what he's doing is he's on internet chat rooms or whatever, and Napoleon's brother Kip uh, is getting catfished by Kevin McCallister. So because him and LaFonda broke up. So
Just trying to find love.
he's looking for some more babes online, and he finds this one girl and he falls for it. But plot twist, it's Kevin McCallister, and so Kif goes to meet up, gets his heart broken. So Napoleon's like, "Oh, I cut out my brother." So he 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 uses his computer hacking skills to like trace where it's coming from, but Napoleon's not that smart, so like he lets Kevin know that he's coming to his
Him.
place. He's just coming to talk because Napoleon's not like a
Confrontation.
he's not like very he's not super confident, but he's
Yeah.
also not confrontational either, but he's going there just to be like, you can't do that, it's not cool. And but this is the error because Kevin McCallister now has prep time. So
Set up his booby traps.
exactly. So Napoleon ends up stumbling into the Kevin McCallister traps, but because Kevin McCallister's his mind is sharper now, but Napoleon's is about the same as it was. But eventually, Napoleon uses like actual logic because it's a very just kind of real slice of life movie. It's not a cartoony, Napoleon's an idiot.
Yeah.
So he eventually, finds Kevin McCallister in like his dungeon, and they have to have it out.
Oh God.
That's the best that I can. That's the best I can do. I was really hoping that Kevin McCallister would not be used. Would not be used until I had like someone like really funny to go up against him. But yeah, that's That's solid.
I can see that.
So I guess now it's just your turn. So I'm going
Okay.
to go ahead and spin the wheel for you. How about Mary Poppins?
Okay. Mary Poppins.
There you go.
And Mr. Mosby from Sweet Life of Zack and Cody.
This actually works out because they both demand exquisite perfection.
Yeah.
Order.
I feel like they're both around children. Okay. I got this.
Okay. So why did they get pissed at each other?
Mary Poppins and the kids go to New York for vacation. And they stay in the Tipton Hotel.
Okay.
And Zach and Cody are there, and they start to get the kids into trouble. Riding luggage carts. Pressing all the buttons in elevators. Running around the restaurant, running the lobby. So Mr. Mosby is yelling at them, "Don't run in my lobby," and starts to blame the kids, Mary Poppins nannies, for all the disturbances in the hotel. And Mary Poppins, being the protective nanny she is not having it. She goes all Karen on Mr. Mosby for blaming her kids for the disturbances in the hotel, when we all know it's Zach and Cody causing the mischief.
So they both blame each other's respective children.
Yes.
For it.
As pseudo parents would.
Yes. Brilliant. And then it basically it's just a war for perfect order.
Yeah, they both don't like all the mess going on. And they have to find someone to blame.
Is Mary Poppins trying to clean up the hotel her way, and Mr. Mosby is trying to clean up the hotel his way?
Absolutely. I also like they definitely have different ideas of how it's supposed to be. Even though it's Mr. Mosby, well,
exactly.
It's Mr. Mosby's lobby. He gets to decide how it is, but Mary Poppins is not having it.
Yep, she just disagrees. In a way, it's the most passive-aggressive battle that we've had on the show.
And neither of them will ever admit they're wrong.
Yes, but neither will ever strike the other either.
Yeah.
Until Mr. Mosby gets pushed too far.
I feel like he would attack a child first.
Before Mary Poppins?
Yeah.
I
feel like he'd be intimidated. He what?
He attacks one of the bank's children.
Yeah.
He reprimands them, and she's like, no. That's good. I like that. Mr. Mosby versus Mary Poppins. That's a good one.
Yeah.
All right. Well, go ahead and spin your wheel.
Let me. Steve Harrington from Stranger Things.
You're going to have to help me because unlike, most of the world, I have not seen Stranger Things.
Okay. Season 1, Steve is dating one of the main kid's sister, kind of. Yeah. He's the older kid, and he's a jerk, but he has major character development. And by season 3, he tags along with the kids and helps fight the Demogorgon. And he gets this he's known as the badass babysitter, basically.
Okay, so he's a teen, but what does he do though?
He scoops ice cream at Chips Ahoy, or Scoops Ahoy, something like that.
All right.
And he just got out of high school, just graduated. Give you some context.
Just a teen with a job, really.
And
supernatural battles.
No really friends his age. He's friends with the younger kids in the show.
Okay. Well, he is going to go against. Man, this is a tough episode.
I was worried our characters would be so far from each other.
He's going against C-3PO,
Okay.
Star Wars. Um, man, this is like the weakest characters. the
Yeah.
weakest character show. So what was your character's name again? Alex?
Uh, Steve.
Steve. Okay. Um, a long time ago in a galaxy far, far away. And by a long time ago, I mean it's the 1980s. So C-3PO is, he's out in space with his crew. It doesn't matter who it is because they don't matter for this one. You can go by sequels or prequels or whoever. People are traveling with C-3PO. They hit the jump. They hit the hyperspace jump, and take a wrong left turn, end up at Earth, 1980s. Crash land. C-3PO is the only survivor.
Oh.
And he's going around now. It is the 80s, so people just know who he is. And he's surprised that everyone
The
recognized him because
Star Wars, the movie franchise, exists in this universe.
exactly, because Star Wars does exist in Stranger Things, does it not?
But
Um,
yeah.
I mean, because it's set in 80s America. Star Wars is a huge thing because at this point, Empire Strikes Back would have just come out.
True, true.
So, he's surprised that everyone is like recognizing him, but they're also like, nice costume, man, and stuff like that. But they're also, shitting on him because it's like, it's not Halloween, dude.
So, Steve works in the mall, which also has a movie theater.
Ah,
If that helps at all with setting the scene.
you know what? This does help because he ends up at the mall, eventually trying to get some help because no one is taking him seriously. They just think he's a guy in a C-3PO costume but then Empire Strikes Back is playing in the movie theater at the mall. So like they just let him in because they think he's there to promote the movie. And he goes in there. I'm just adding some extra fluff.
Yeah.
And he goes in and is surprised to see himself on the TV, but the events haven't happened yet.
Ooh.
That's the plot twist. And so because he this is C-3PO. You know what? Yeah, the crew does matter. This is C-3PO as of after New Hope, before Empire Strikes Back. So what he's seeing is actually foretelling events that will happen to him. And
Like this adds depth to the Star Wars
yeah,
franchise.
this actually adds this is adding the layers. This is my extended universe. And seeing this makes him go like droid crazy. He like short circuits because it's like a time paradox almost, and he just goes berserk and ends up do you happen to know where the movie theater is in proximity to this ice cream
So
shop?
there's a like back hallway for like employees that leads directly to it,
Okay. So he ends up,
which they like
you
they
know,
use to like sneak into the movies. Sorry.
oh, okay, cool. So he ends up like busting through the wall because you know what? Star Wars is different. We don't know how strong the droids actually are. I'm going to assume that he can bust through an earth wall um
Okay.
from the 80s, and he busts through, and Steve's like, not in my ice cream shop. And then he has to try, and he's trying to take on a crazed C-3PO who has just witnessed a time paradox, and his circuits don't know how to like process it because he's seeing things that are the future, but he logically shouldn't be able to. And so, but it's not a very eventful fight because
Yeah.
C-3PO, we know, he's not very mobile, so he can't move a lot. So like Steve's like mopping or whatever, and he slips, and that's pretty much the extent of it. And there's probably some more layers in there, but I'm willing to chalk that up as how they get together.
No, I like that. because like from Steve's perspective, it's just this like Star Wars fan just busted through the wall and is like causing a ruckus.
Yeah, that he's an outsider in this scenario. The only way that they are actually going against each other is that Steve causes C-3PO to fall over due to his mopping.
I like
Had
it.
to make a bit of a stretch there, but that's what
works.
the show's about. All right. So I'm going to spin the wheel for you.
Okay.
For our next matchup, and probably the last of this episode. And you know what? My show, my rules, I'm going to spin it a few times.
Go for it.
Okay. You have Simon, the chipmunk.
I had Alvin on my list.
Well, that's okay because this is only Simon.
I got Willy Wonka.
So Willy Wonka versus Simon. The chipmunk. Only Simon the chipmunk. He's not joined by the rest. It's
no. Chipmunk. Only Simon. Okay. I feel like logically in my head, Simon bought a chocolate bar. And in the chocolate bar was the golden ticket.
Of course.
So Simon goes to the chocolate factory for a tour with Willy Wonka. How does this progress? What conflict would Willy Wonka and Simon get into? Because Simon's not the like one that causes like mischief. He's like the reserved one.
But Willy Wonka does cause several child injuries / possible deaths, so
that's true. Okay. I got this. Simon goes to the chocolate factory. On his tour, all the other kids that are with him almost die. They fall in the chocolate lake.
Yeah.
One gets abducted by Oompa Loompas.
Of course.
And but they just have to live amongst them now. So when Simon finally ends the tour and leaves, he decides to file a lawsuit against Willy Wonka.
Okay.
But it doesn't go anywhere. The charges just don't
take that seriously.
Yeah, no, the lawyer was like, no, this guy's
it's a
chipmunk. He's crazy. So Simon becomes a lawyer. He goes to law school.
Okay. I'm sold.
He takes Willy Wonka to court. And just Simon, with his hard work and the evidence he kept from years ago on the chocolate factory tour, he's able to convince a jury of his peers that Willy Wonka is responsible for the child abduction, for unsafe work regulations, overworking the Oompa Loompas, and he's able to take down Willy Wonka's chocolate factory in the court of law.
You know, I'm glad you got this one because I would have just said that, you know, he sees all the kids getting picked off one by one and, you know, just starts a brawl in the factory. You really took the long route of having him go and get a law degree as a chipmunk and then take him to court.
He put his music career aside for the greater good.
For the greater good. You know, I'm going to see that and I'm going to raise it that Willy Wonka does go to prison and he becomes hardened.
Oh, yeah.
When he gets out of prison, he's Willy Wonka, and I use Gene Wilder's Willy Wonka, the classic one.
Yeah, that's what I'm visualizing.
He's just ripped. And he comes for Simon like at a concert.
I can see that.
Just ripped Wonka. And then, you know, they just go at it. It's a battle that goes on for many decades.
Like Tom and Jerry scenario.
Yes. Willy Wonka is put away for quite a long time, so Simon's like an old chipmunk. In fact, knowing how long chipmunks actually live, it's probably not even the same Simon.
Oh, how long do they live?
I'm gonna assume no more than maybe 5 years. So
Okay, I believe that.
it's a different Simon now, but the grudge still stands.
Simon's great grandchild. Both the stories been passed down for generations.
Exactly. Not since the Legend of Zelda has a story conceived generations. All right, so that's a 5 matchup episode. So thank you all for listening to Impossible versus Matches. I'm
Thank you for
Joseph,
having me.
and this is Rachel. Rachel, where can they find you if you have anything you want to plug, any social media or anything?
Um, nope.
Even though everyone that
You can
listens to
find
this
it in the
knows who you
description
are.
box.
Hey, even though everyone that watches this right now already knows who you are in the first place, probably already follows you.
Probably.